Okay, let's try this again. Hey, what's up, guys? Chris Nelson here from my truck studio again. And today, President Joe Biden issued a pardon for marijuana users nationwide, okay, using his Article II powers. And let's just look at this really quick at what Biden did and what this means. USA Today, Francesca Chambers, President Joe Biden announced Friday is issuing a federal pardon to every American who has used marijuana in the past. Okay, including those who were never arrested or prosecuted. All right. The sweeping pardon applies to all U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents in possession of marijuana for their personal use and those convicted of similar federal crimes. Please like this and share this around if you can. And so here, okay, so then we'll go down, look at this more. Okay, it also forgives pot users in the District of Columbia. It does not apply to individuals who have been jailed for selling the drug, which is illegal under federal law, or other marijuana offenses such as driving under the influence of an illegal substance. It's interesting because marijuana is legal, like here in Florida. If you have a prescription, you can get it. Some states it's legal completely. It's legal in. It's not legal federally though. I think it's better than painkillers, but I don't necessarily recommend it because just the effects um, on the brain and the ability to think clearer. But the point isn't really. I'm not talking about whether I agree with this or not today, but which I think I do. I think I do for the most part. But and Biden announces this 3 days before the Christmas holiday. In a statement, Biden said Americans should not be sent to prison solely for using or possessing marijuana. He urged governors to forgive state offenses. Criminal records for marijuana use and possession have imposed needless barriers to employment, housing, education opportunities. Too many lives have been upended because of failed approach to marijuana. It's time that we right these wrongs, Biden said. Biden also commuted the sentences of 11 people. He said were serving disproportionately long sentences for nonviolent drug offenses and would later receive lesser sentences. They were charged today. The Congressional Black Caucus said that pardons are a positive step forward in addressing long-standing racial disparities in crack, powder, cocaine sentencing, all this other stuff. So, okay, so my question and the question that went out today was if Biden is pardoning these the marijuana stuff, all right, then why is it that you still have people today saying that Trump could not have pardoned the January 6ers? Okay, the people that stormed the Capitol, including anybody that there were a bunch of people that day. There were people that were just at the protest. Then there were people that left to stop the Steal protest and marched to the Capitol. And then there were the people that broke through the barriers, went through the doors. There were people that did property damage. It was definitely a riot. Some people consider it an insurrection, which I've realized it does not have to be an attempted coup of the government for it to be an insurrection. An insurrection is just an uprising against the government. And by the way, the Insurrection Act could have been used by President Trump when the BLM riots were happening. You know, Trump's new buddies, BLM, when they were rioting and burning things down in 2020, Trump could have used the Insurrection Act against them. Just like with California riots, the Rodney King riots, Insurrection Act, okay? So the question being, he chose instead to tweet law and order in all caps over and over and over again instead of invoking the Insurrection Act against BLM. Why didn't he do that? Well, you can think of why doesn't Trump do anything? Like what drives Trump? Okay? Um Public opinion, poll numbers. We found that out. That's very clear. I mean, I had people tell me that beforehand. That Trump only cares about polls and public opinion. Okay, so if public opinion polls were telling him that while BLM was burning things down, because you remember it was during the George Floyd stuff. It was a racially sensitive time in 2020. And then everything was solved when the Washington Redskins finally got rid of that racist name and turned it to and became the Washington football team. Okay, that should have stopped all of the riots right there, because we know that these riots had everything to do with the fact that the Washington Redskins continued to offend Native Americans by putting one of their most revered chiefs on their football helmets, and actually, it turns out that wasn't really an offensive thing, the Washington Redskins. But as soon as the Washington Redskins changed their name to the Washington football team, that finally ended things, and things returned to normal. But Trump did not, no, he did not do the Insurrection Act there, okay, to quell those riots, all right? So the question is, if Biden is here and he knows his Article II power, in using blanket this is not a blanket pardon, but why is it that people still say that Trump could not have pardoned these guys? Okay, and the question that I have, all right, is a question that I asked to what I asked to food blogger turned legal expert Julie Kelly, who has become the in-house legal expert on January 6th. It turned out that she's not really a legal expert, just like Sebastian Gorka isn't a real doctor, yet he goes on TV and pushes relief factor that has no proven way of working, and he puts Dr. Sebastian Gorka underneath and says, I'm Dr. Sebastian Gorka. You should use relief factor. Okay, well, you're not a real doctor, dude. And if you haven't noticed, a lot of these guys, that you kind of have this thought that they are some kind of expert and they present themselves as such, but they're really not, okay? And Julie Kelly's one of these, all right? And she's kind of taken it upon herself to be she's the legal expert on January 6th, okay? And what she does is she cannot admit, and this goes for a lot of people, they just cannot admit that Trump could have pardoned these guys. And my question is, if say he couldn't have done anything, say he was impotent to do anything, just like he was impotent to stop Fauci, just like he was impotent to stop the BLM riots, all these things, he didn't even try. And if you go after the fact, since then, he hasn't lifted a finger to help any of these J6ers, any of these guys in jail. All right? And you know, you could just admit that, hey, look, yeah, he could have done that, because you see, Biden knows his Article II power, but Trump didn't do these things, okay? And this was something that always bothered me, and I get it, okay? Okay, here we go, all right? This is what the law says. Dang, I can't see that. That's man, am I getting old or something? But let me just read it right. Okay, a pardon may be granted at any time prior to charge, prior to conviction, or following conviction, but it appears that it must be accepted to be effective, or at least may be refused. Okay, this is a full pardon is the most expansive form of clemency. It releases the wrongdoer from punishment and restores the offendant's civil rights without qualification. For instance, President Woodrow Wilson issued a pardon to George Burdick, an editor of the New York Times Tribune, for any federal offenses he may have committed in connection with the publication of an article regarding alleged customs fraud, despite the fact that Burdick had not been charged with any crime at the time of the pardon. Okay, so, guys, I'm not going to talk about this again. I've decided this because I only have so much freaking energy, all right? And you're not going to please people who are going to hate you. Trying to please people who are going to hate you, or trying to reason with the unreasonable, or it will zap your energy. And honestly, it zapped a little bit of mine. And whose fault is that? No one but my own. All right? I'm not going to argue this anymore. That's why I'm making this video. I'm saying this just straight up. There is no could he have, or debate about this anymore. It is a straight up fact that Trump could have pardoned the January 6ers for any crimes they would have committed or have been charged with, okay? He chose not to. Can you just work that into your QAnon plan or something? Like, maybe he was trying to expose something with this. Maybe there was a link to Epstein Island in this somewhere. Maybe something like that. Maybe you can work it into the tribunals at Guantanamo Bay or something. But don't try to say that he couldn't have done it, because you're just not being honest, okay? So we leave it at that. And you know, there's been a lot lately, like talking about with Trump, and it's like Trump can throw all the mud he wants, and his people can throw all the mud he wants at DeSantis. They can call him names, they can accuse him of you know, any kind of thing, accuse him of going and stealing the jewels out of the Temple of Gilgamesh, and I mean, they can accuse his wife of anything. They rag him. They go after him, his kids. They can do whatever they want, okay? And but when you go back at them in any way, that's unacceptable. Oh yeah, Trump can call for people to be taken off of the ballot. He called for Ted Cruz to be taken off the ballot. All right? State of Iowa should disqualify Ted Cruz from the most recent election on the basis that he cheated, a total fraud. See, Trump on 2/3/16, after the Iowa caucus back then, had a meltdown because Ted Cruz won the Iowa caucus and he didn't. So he demanded that that the state of Iowa should disqualify him, okay? All right? What else did Trump do? All right? Trump is Super PAC, MAGA Inc., or whatever the hell it's called. They tried to have Ron DeSantis taken off the ballot. That's right. I know. I mean, yeah, how could he do such a thing? But yeah, he did. He tried to have Ron DeSantis taken off the ballot. All right. Here it is. All right. Governor DeSantis' failure. This is what the complaint said from MAGA Inc., Trump's PAC. When was this? All right, and the Florida Ethics Panel tossed it. Okay. All right, so here we go. Let's go over here. All right. Florida Ethics Panel tosses Trump Super PAC complaint against Ron DeSantis. The commission said the complaint, which alleged the governor violated state ethics rules, found to lack legal sufficiency. Oh, go figure. You mean Huma Baba and Trump's other lawyers didn't have a clue what they were doing? Oh, no way. I am shocked at this. But here's the hypocrisy here, okay? A Florida ethics panel found, this is back in May 1, 2023, by Matt Dixon, no fan of Ron DeSantis, by the way. A Florida ethics panel found no legal basis for a complaint filed by a pro-Donald Trump super PAC alleging Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had violated a series of election and ethics-related laws. The complaint, first reported by NBC News, was filed by Taylor Bertowich, who runs a pro-Trump super PAC, MAGA Inc. It alleged DeSantis had taken gifts in violation of state ethics rules from his own political committee and outside advocacy organizations as part of a national book tour to promote his book. So they filed this complaint. All right. This complaint would have barred Ron DeSantis from being on a ballot. Okay. So Trump here is he has done this in the past. Okay. He has a history of doing this. of trying to get his opponents knocked off ballots and stuff like this. And, in a way, I mean, you can't look. This is politics, man. And this is why you never hear Ron DeSantis pissing and moaning about these kind of things, because it's kind of the nature of the game. All right. But what happens on our side is this gaslighting, like what's going on with Trump now, that has absolutely nothing to do with DeSantis. These are things that he stepped into. Okay. The thing in Colorado. All right. Don't be so sure that's going to rule in Trump's favor. Okay. Look, I know that this might not be the popular thing to say, but Clarence Thomas should recuse himself. His wife was involved with Stop the Steal. Okay. That's a no-brainer. Anybody else would say that. Okay. That if this was Biden being removed from the ballot and one of the Supreme Court justices had a tie to something, whatever was going on, they would say that that person needed to recuse himself, okay? And if Biden was the one being kicked off the ballot, being challenged, then all the Trump people and the pundits and the Mark Levins would be talking about states' rights, right? They would. Guys, the Constitution just is what it is. You can't just decide that you want it to be something if Trump wants it to be, and it's something else if Trump doesn't want it to be. Okay, this process is going to play out, but all this talk about that this is a threat to our oh my God, we're a banana republic, and I don't think any of these people know what a banana republic is. Okay, this is just the legal system, and this is how it works. Okay. If it's not to your liking, then that's just, too bad. It is what it is. Because Trump has tried before to get Ron DeSantis kicked off ballot. He tried to get Ted Cruz disqualified. All right? He's now on a recording. Somehow he always ends up on a recording with these things. I mean, this is the wet bandits we're talking about here. Him and his buddy, crony, Ronna McDaniel, putting the screws to people in Michigan, okay? And you don't think that's intimidation? That's intimidation. When you're a little election worker or something like that, and you're on the phone with Donald Trump, and he's there basically suggesting that things could go very bad for you if you don't fall in line. That's manipulation. That's a threat, because Trump has a huge platform and the means to go after you. Okay, or to hurt you in the future. Basically, is what's going on there. And so. Somehow they're on a recording, so I guess whoever was getting these calls decided that, hey, I need to record this, so that was probably smart. But let me just get down to so there you go. He gets people off of ballots, and that's why I said what I said.
Every single ballot. Him and Ronna could not be kicked out of the Republican Party quicker, and they can take the grifters with them, the Gorkas, the Lindells, Posobiec, and Kirk, and all these grifters that have infected our party like a cancer. And we look, I don't know. I wake up to all these texts about, oh, now it's time to have unity. Like, do you understand? Like, this is like this backwards world right now. Okay. Trump's facing 91 indictments. He's being kicked off ballots. And what do you have? You have
And you just missed the fact that he probably will have more indictment out of Michigan as a result of
more.
So, this is where I am, and I think that anybody looking at this objectively would go, it would be insane and political suicide for the Republican Party to stick by this guy. All right, but we live in a world where we have basically a cancer within the party, and a lot of people with a lot of financial stake around Donald Trump that care more about him, okay? And look, than they do about the country. Look, Donald Trump's almost 80, okay? He is an elderly man, all right? He could be in a nursing home at this time in his life, all right? He's not going to be around when we face the consequences if he becomes the nominee again and loses. And do you think his kids, do you think Ivanka, do you think Jared Kushner, do you think these people are going to be running out of electricity, being cut off electricity for their electric cars that were mandated to drive, which DeSantis today, him and Ashley Moody, have challenged a new rule coming out of Biden's EPA, I think. They're trying to mandate electric vehicles on everybody, okay? And which are going to be a disaster. If there's a hurricane, how are you going to charge it? It's going to be the ultimate government control over your mobility, all right? Is Donald Trump going to be alive when we have to deal with these things? He's going to be long gone, okay? We're going to have to deal with this, though, okay? And let me tell you, I know I get attacked. I know all these people, oh, you're making DeSantis look bad, but I don't work for DeSantis. I'm a voter, and I'm somebody who cares. And I've been through this before, okay? I remember in 2016, all right? There was a lot of pressure to get behind Trump. I knew Cruz was the better guy. I voted for him in the primary, but the pressure was to get behind Trump. So get behind Trump, all right? We saw what happened. I was happy to be behind Trump in 2020 in spite of all that he did, okay? But here we are, all right? And let me tell you what did it for me, okay? And I'll wrap this up. I just wanted this to be a quick video. Because I want to, and I want to put this to bed for good, okay? Honestly, the going back and forth about this kind of stuff. And by the way, Merry Christmas. Have a good Christmas. Enjoy your family. But I want to explain to you why I'm so passionate about this and why sometimes I do get angry and you hear that anger, okay? It's not because I personally hate Trump, okay? Look, if he got out of public life and was still going through all this, I might feel for the guy in a way, all right? I might even contribute to his legal defense, okay? I might have some compassion there, all right? It's not that I just hate him personally there's a lot of libs that they just hate Trump and everything about him, although I'm getting there, but they just, it's more of a personal thing with them or whatever, because in the 2016s, he really did represent middle America, like regular people. That's who we thought he represented anyway. But this is, because I have seen how him and the people around him have behaved, all right? And let's pass the lockdowns, all right? Because the lockdowns were on him, all right? That's another thing you can twist any way you want. The lockdowns were on him. He said the buck stops with him with the states reopening. He shut the country down, and then he fussed and griped at Governor Kemp when he tried to reopen, okay? He was a pain in the ass to DeSantis, too, with the schools and the masks. And so that was him, okay? He set the things in motion that led to what then came in 2020 with the election. And when we skip to January 6th, now we know that, now I believe the election was stolen because a lot of people said it was stolen. I believe this, okay? But here is Trump's guy, Steve Bannon, all right? Here he is on October 31st, 2020. Before the election, listen to what he says here. Listen to this.
What Trump's going to do is just declare victory, right? He's going to declare victory. But that doesn't mean he's the winner. He's just going to say he's the winner. The Democrats, more of our...
Did you just hear that? Did you just hear that? Here's the plan. Trump's going to declare victory. Even if he's not the winner, he's going to declare victory. Let's play this again.
What Trump's going to do is just declare victory, right? He's going to declare victory. But that doesn't mean he's the winner. He's just going to say he's the winner. The Democrats, more of our people vote early that count. Theirs voted mail. And so they're going to have a natural disadvantage, and Trump's going to take advantage of it. That's our strategy. He's going to declare himself a winner. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, it's going to be a firestorm. Also, if Trump is losing by 10 or 11 o'clock at night, it's going to be even crazier. No, because he's going to sit right there and say they stole it.
Agree.
I'm directing the Attorney General to shut down all ballot places in all 50 states. It's going to be no. He's not going out easy. If Biden's winning, Trump is going to do some crazy shit.
Okay.
What Trump's going to do.
All right. So there you go. All right. And this, by the way, was the plan they had in 2016. That's when Roger Stone had started the website Stop the Steal. It was and remember, he was talking nonstop about if Hillary won, he was going to declare that he was the winner anyway and that they cheated and stuff. But then he ended up actually being declared the winner and actually winning in 2016, so that didn't happen. So Stop the Steal got put on the shelf. And then it got revived. Yeah, you see that, Gigi? Is this, you know, it's interesting. People don't see this stuff. All right? This is before the election. This is them coming up with this plan and talking about even if he loses, he's going to declare himself the winner. Skip over to Roger Stone. All right? This documentary, A Storm Foretold, has been buried. It should be on it should be on Netflix. It should be all over the place. This has been buried, and you wonder why, okay? Because it's very revealing and also heartbreaking to people who actually believe that Trump had the election stolen from him. And I can't imagine what people sitting in prison for this lie would believe when seeing this. Here we go. Here is Roger Stone in the hotel room. Before January 6th, on January 6th.
Thank you. You guys have been great. Now, these are stop. That's why they lost. They don't know what they're doing.
It's why they lost. They don't know what they're doing. Okay? There is Roger Stone on January 6th admitting that they lost. That the people around Trump have no clue what they're doing. They ran a horrible campaign. And there's even a clip of him. You know, there they are. There's Alex Jones doing all this, the Stop the Steal stuff. There's the video that was used against Enrique Tarrio that to try to say that, by the way, Enrique, who would bend over backwards and sacrifice his first child. Well, maybe not that, but would do anything for Roger Stone and Donald Trump, who is now sitting in jail on a 23-year prison sentence over this crap. And there's the scene in the car where he's talking about why Trump lost. Okay, I think I was at that protest there. Where he's talking about why they lost, and it was because he shut the country down. Because Trump shut the country down. But the most important.
He is preparing to issue a final. You do now to. Take a right at the light. Gates was certainly on board when he found out it would save his ass.
Okay, so the audio for this isn't coming through. Okay, but here is the point, and I hope you can hear this. Okay, this is what listen to this here.
Yes, I know. Will you stop? Do I tell you how to make Danish films? No. Stop telling me about American politics. He has 4 more days of power. He can either let his supporters be thrown to the lions, or he can save them.
Let his supporters be thrown to the lions or save them. It's that simple.
Isn't there a risk of how?
There is no risk. He's leaving. There is no risk. How it looks? Who gives a fuck how it looks? How does it look when they spy on you without a warrant? How does it look when they arrest you without probable cause? How does it when they try to beat you into admitting something? How about when they take a word? You said the word fight, Mr. Stone. You said fight in your speech. You said fight for America. You're charged with inciting violence. These people are a bunch of despicable creeps. I just clashed with them once. I won that round, as you may have noticed. Fuck them.
All right, I hope you get to hear that. Maybe you did. Maybe you won that round, Roger. But look, guys. I just want you to see, and then that's not even all of it. That's not even all of it. You got Jason Miller too. You got what they told the January 6th committee. Okay, you got what and this is why they hate Pedro Gonzalez so much, because he points this stuff out. Then you got this.
There is a 5 to 10% chance.
All right, let's play this. Let's play this too. All right, let's play this. What did Jason Miller and what did he tell the January 6th committee? All right, and what did he tell them? And after these guys came out and told all of us, got up on megaphones and told all of us the election was stolen, okay? They told everybody, rally in D.C., the election was stolen, Biden lost, Trump won, stop the steal. They did all that stuff, okay? They told us all that stuff. All right, they lied. How this cannot make people infuriated is beyond me. But if you want to know why I feel so passionately and how I feel about this, who likes being lied to? It's almost like finding out your spouse cheated on you. Finding out Trump and his people knew he lost the election, but they lied and told us that they won it. Listen to Jason Miller here.
The bottom line was, we told him there is a 5 to 10% chance of all of this happening. You can't go 2 for 3. You can't go 1 for 3. You need to win recounts in 2 states and win a legal challenge in Wisconsin. That has to happen, 3 for 3. And we think realistically there's a 5, maybe 10% chance of that happening.
I was in the Oval Office.
Look at the mask.
And at some point in the conversation, Matt Oskowski, who is the lead data person, was brought on. And I remember he delivered to the president pretty blunt terms that he was going to lose.
And that was based, Mr. Miller, on Matt and the data team's assessment of the sort of county by county, state by state results as reported?
Correct.
You know, after the election, as of November 7th, in your judgment, what were the chances of President Trump winning the election?
After that point?
Yes.
None.
Is it accurate to say that at some point you urged President Trump to stop challenging the results of the 2020 presidential election?
It's accurate to say that I believed past a certain point, once the appropriate legal challenges were pursued, that it was in everyone's best interest to focus on the accomplishments of the administration and preserve the president's legacy, rather than continue down a path which I believed was pointless.
A path that you believed was pointless. Okay, so Trump had all of his people telling him that he lost. Okay, Roger Stone on video saying Trump lost, and there's a clip in there earlier. I don't know why this documentary is not widely available. Um, a Storm Foretold. It should be on Netflix. It should be readily available. I mean, this is so revealing. Following Roger around when he's doing the Stop the Steal marches. That's when I met Roger, is during the Stop the Steal marches. I remember handing him a megaphone to use once, and you know, he lives close to me, and I you know, when it comes to Roger, I don't have any God. You know, I know this might be hard to think, but I still have love in my heart for the guy, and I just don't. I almost feel like he's like Darth Vader. He's like Darth Vader, and it's like there's still good in you. But look, my personal feelings are beside the point. The fact of the matter is it's heartbreaking. Is this not heartbreaking? I mean, when I watched all of these, I felt almost the same way I felt when I got dumped in 6th grade. I mean, it was heartbreaking. Okay? Because I was a true believer. I mean, I did not doubt for a second that election was stolen, and had it not be for my wife urging me not to go, I would have been at the Capitol on January 6th. And I didn't know anything about any storming a Capitol building. I knew it was a rally. I would have been there. But because I believed it. I believed the election was stolen. And now seeing that, and honestly, after this, I really don't want to talk about this again. I don't want to argue with people about this again. It's pointless. The information's out there. I'm putting as much information out there as I can. I want to explain to you why I feel the way I feel about this. Okay? And even knowing, now we know that Trump knew he lost. His advisors told him he lost. Roger Stone knows he lost. Steve Bannon knew he lost. They hatched a plan that beforehand they knew that even if he lost, they were going to say that he won. Okay? And let's look at why he lost. Okay? Which he's never had to face, and he won't debate, so he doesn't have to face any of this stuff now, is shutting down the country and going along with Fauci and doing what he did with that. People wanted to return to what he did with not invoking the Insurrection Act and allowing the BLM to torch cities. People wanted to return to normalcy, and like Biden or not, Biden ran on a return to normalcy, okay? He ran on, I'm going to bring us out of this, and Trump ran on chaos, and the United States of America picked the guy that was going to return us to normalcy and promised that. Okay? That's why Trump lost, in my opinion. But to hear all these things and to be a true believer, unless you want to still live in denial about all this, and I get it, denial is a hard thing to give up. It takes humility. People might have big audiences. That I get it. I've lost a lot of audiences. Audiences will leave you. These guys will turn on you, and I get it. People like Julie Kelly, these other people, they have big audiences, and they know that if they start talking like this, those audiences will go out. But you know what? I'm telling the truth, and the truth matters more than an audience or money or anything like that. It does, at least to me. And that broke my heart when I saw all that stuff. And that's when things got, when I no longer was friends with Roger Stone or any of that stuff. Okay. But I wanted you to know that that's how I feel about this, about January 6th, about these things. And there are people that are sitting in prison for this. And I believe they are sitting in prison for a lie. And then, to add insult to injury, Trump pardons scumbag millionaires, people like Kwame Kilpatrick, people like Charles Kushner, who is sitting in a very nice spot in Miami right now. He ain't sitting in no DC gulag, I'll tell you that. Pardoned Kodak Black. He pardoned rappers. Kodak Black is not been able to stay out of trouble since Trump pardoned him, by the way. Maybe some jail time would have done Kodak a little bit of good. He's a very talented, very popular rapper. It would really suck to see Kodak Black go the way of some of these other rappers because he didn't get his act together, okay? Trump pardoned all sorts of people that were millionaires, and then he gave Fauci an award on his way out, and he didn't pardon the January 6ers. And not only that, but he hasn't lifted a finger to help these guys. He hasn't helped their families. He hasn't helped them. And you can talk about Ron DeSantis all day long. Maybe Ron could have done more. Maybe there's things Ron could have done to help the January 6ers that he didn't. He's promised them to when he becomes president to have a panel that will look at every one of their cases, so the January 6 families can submit, and anybody that's had any kind of persecution by the Justice Department or perceived persecution can have their cases looked at in a fair way. And he said pardons and commutations begin on day one of his presidency. I don't think you can say that about Donald Trump. I think if Donald Trump became president, he would not pardon the January 6ers, and if he did, he would wait till the end of his presidency to do it, and he would base it on public opinion. I don't know why you would trust him. He didn't do it the first time. I don't know why you would trust him to do it now. I don't. But Ron DeSantis is a man of his word, and Ron DeSantis will do what he said. Okay? And I know that's not popular with anybody. Some people think that the January 6ers belong in jail for insurrection and all this stuff. I don't believe that. I think they were treated unfairly. I think they got caught up in something that, I feel like it's almost like with the 60s, people that were alive in the 60s, they're like, oh, you had to be there. I feel like with 2020, you had to be there. You got caught up in it. Everybody was caught up in Trump's and all these people pushing to stop the steal and feeling like you were doing something right for your country, and that this was a stolen election, and they deserve to have their cases looked at fairly. Ron DeSantis has promised that he will do that, and he is their best hope. I would not put hope in Donald Trump if I was the J6 family. He doesn't come through on what he says, and he bases what he does on public opinion. And that's not integrity, and that's not trustworthiness. And if you want to know why I feel so strongly about Trump, Ron DeSantis isn't paying me. Nobody showed up with a bag of money and said, Chris Nelson, can you attack Trump? And I didn't, and what Tim Pool says about me, that I'm just parroting talking points. No, these words are my own from my heart, to quote Natasha Bedingfield. They are. This is Chris Nelson. Merry Christmas, and thanks for watching.